This is Leila, 5 years old, first grader, and the sweetest little sister you'll meet in Kona, Hawaii. By day, she's just like any other kid, learning to surf, mastering the hula, and figuring out how to read those tricky words in her favorite books. But when the sun dips below the horizon, Leila's world transforms. She becomes Agent L, a fearless secret agent on a mission to protect Kona from the mischievous Menehune hiding in the forests. Armed with bravery, smarts, and a heart full of aloha, Leila juggles daring rescues with bedtime stories. Welcome to her double life. It's a warm, starry night in Kona, and while most kids are fast asleep, Leila is wide awake. Why? Because Agent L has a mission. Somewhere in the jungle, the mischievous Menehunes have struck again. This time, they've kidnapped Uncle Kimo's pet rooster Moa, the pride of the neighborhood and the unofficial alarm clock of Kona. Without Moa's morning crow, the entire town will oversleep and miss the big surf competition tomorrow. Leila tiptoed out of her room, careful not to wake her big brother. She grabbed her trusty flashlight, her flower-powdered backpack filled with secret agent tools, a magnifying glass, a bag of macadamia nuts for emergencies, and her lucky shell necklace, and she slipped into the warm Kona night. The jungle was alive with the sound of chirping crickets and rustling leaves. Leila followed a trail of tiny footprints, Menehune footprints, that glowed faintly under her flashlight. They led her to a clearing where the Menehunes had built a tiny fortress out of sticks and leaves. Inside, she could hear Moa clucking nervously. "Don't worry, Moa," Leila whispered to herself. "Agent L is on it." But as she stepped closer, she heard giggles, high-pitched and mischievous. The Menehunes were guarding their prize. Tiny shadows darted between the trees, their beady eyes glowing like fireflies. One of them popped out from behind a bush and stuck out its tongue at her before vanishing again. "Oh, no, you don't," Leila said, hands on her hips. She reached into her backpack and pulled out her secret weapon, macadamia nuts. Menehune couldn't resist them. She tossed a handful into the clearing. The Menehune froze. One by one, they sniffed the air and scampered towards the nuts, giggling as they grabbed their favorite treat. While they were distracted, Leila crept toward the fortress, using her magnifying glass to spot the tiniest gaps in their stick walls. She found an opening just big enough for her to wiggle through. Leila took a deep breath and squeezed through the narrow opening, her heart racing with excitement. Inside the tiny fortress, the atmosphere was surprisingly cozy, filled with the earthy scent of leaves and the soft rustle of Moa's feathers. The little hen clucked softly, her eyes wide with anticipation. "Okay, Moa, we're almost free," Leila whispered, scanning the fortress for any signs of the Menehune. She could hear their giggles echoing from outside, but for now they were too busy enjoying the macadamia nuts to pay attention to her. Leila quickly made her way to Moa, who was pecking at the ground, clearly anxious to escape. "Don't worry, I've got you," Leila said, gently scooping up the hen. Just then, a shadow flitted across the entrance and Leila's heart skipped a beat. One of the Menehune was peeking in, its eyes wide with curiosity. Thinking quickly, Leila pulled out her last macadamia nut and held it up. "Hey, little friend, would you like a treat?" she called out, trying to keep her voice steady. The Menehune's eyes lit up and it stepped closer, forgetting all about the fortress as it focused on the nut. With the Menehune distracted, Leila seized the moment. "Now, Moa," she urged, darting out of the fortress, just as the tiny creature lunged for the nut. She sprinted through the underbrush. Moa nestled safely in her arms as giggles erupted behind her. The Menehune, realizing they had been tricked, shrieked in playful indignation. "Come back with our net," one of them shouted, their voices high and melodic. It didn't stop to look back. She dashed through the trees, her heart pounding with exhilaration. "Agent L, on the move," she declared, feeling like a true hero. The sound of the Menahunis faded as she and Moa made their way deeper into the forest, where the sunlight filtered through the leaves, creating a patchwork of light and shadow. She had faced the mischievous little guardians and come out victorious. She had brought Moa back and saved the surf competition. What will she do next? Be sure to catch the next episode of Agent L.